Hamjambo, peace and love to everyone who is tuning into the Kenyan podcast. We hope that you are doing fantastic on yet another wonderful Friday. This being on the seventh day of the month of August, the year 2022. I want to welcome each and every one of us to the podcast where we get to discuss what's trending and what's topical in the 254. Remember, you can always connect with us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Kenyan Podcast, on Facebook, the Kenyan Podcast, and also on Instagram, Kenyan Podcast. We are here with the latest. We are here with the what's trending. We are here with what matters. And the goal is to seek indulgence, all your engagement with us as we discuss these different issues with the hope of adding value to the conversations that are happening on mainstream media and also conversations that are not happening on mainstream media. Therefore, thank you so much for being with us on the podcast and also for supporting the podcast. Like I said, in case you would always like to hit us up, you can reach us through social media, Kenyan Podcast, or you can always find us also via email, which is kenyanpodcast@gmail.com. My name is Spikes, and in case you're joining us for the very first time, we get to discuss different things. It could be politics, it could be business, it could be social issues, it could be environmental matters, it could be everything else in between that has to do with us as a Kenyan people in the 254 and also as a Kenyan people globally. So welcome so much. We hope that you are doing well. And we hope that the month of October is taking you really nicely. If not, things will eventually shape up. So please hang in there and make sure that you're staying positive and optimistic in everything that you do. And also make sure that you are making your plans early in advance for December, because the year is almost done and people get to wait until December to make plans. Please do not do that. Make sure that you're making your own plans early in advance so that when it gets to December, you're not there looking at people taking their vacations. You're not there thinking, why not yourself? Why is it that other people are able to do what they are doing? It's only that they had planned a bit in advance, a little bit in advance, and therefore that is how they are able to enjoy their holidays in a much more kind of a loud way. Personally, I'm not a loud person, but you will find people enjoying their holidays in a loud way over the December holidays. So start planning if you haven't planned already. Start making plans right now. For me, I understand some people make plans as early as January, which is wonderful. If you start making plans for December in January, by the time you get there, your savings will be good enough for you to be able to do a few things. Maybe perhaps take a vacation, take your family on a tour, maybe perhaps go up country and do a few things. No, there are so many things that you can do over December, but you have to start planning for them right here. So once again, karibuni sana to the podcast. We shall be discussing different things. First and foremost, entertainment. This weekend is heavily packed because there shall be the performance by Ruga from Nigeria at the Kinoru Stadium in Meru. And of course, many people have been talking about, will local artists get a spotlight? No, will local artists also get the shine? Because what happens with most concerts where we do have big performers coming from outside the country, we do find that our local artists, are left behind the shadows, and therefore not much is to be seen of them. They are not they are not given the platform as well to showcase what we need. But you remember that in previous years, we have had even big artists complaining. I remember Karun was one of the artists complaining that when she was invited to go perform, it was at a concert where we did have other top Nigerian artists. And when Karun, beautiful Miss Karun, was invited to this particular concert, she was not given, honorable treatment, from the organizers themselves. And that is the same kind of a thing that you might find with our artists who are out there performing, maybe in Kinoru. They are local artists who are trying to do their thing. But the problem is, sometimes they are not being given that shine. They are not given that opportunity also for them to be able to as much in terms of showcasing their talent. And, when these big artists have left, and they are back in their own country, for example, they are back in Nigeria, we still need the local industry working so that we can have employment for these young people who are also talented, musically speaking. And talking about big Nigerian artists, you happen to realize that we also were expecting to see a show from Thames. Thames has been doing big in the UK, in the US, and what has been happening is that many people were expecting to see a performance by terms. But that was not to be. She has put out a message through her social media, and she has said because of unforeseeable reasons, she will not be able to come and put on a show in the 254, which is really sad for most people who are hoping to see her perform her jams like Essence. And of course, the problem is, for me, if you do ask me, I'm not throwing shade. I do get to ask myself, how many more songs do you know from Thames apart from Essence with Whiskey? I do not know many. I probably a few others. I do not know many, but what I do know is that she is really, really talented. She was featured on a song with Drake and Future, which is "Wait for You." "Wait for You" is also another top banger. But when it's on a collaboration, she will not have Future and Drake coming. She would have to do it by herself, because I have seen a rendition of the same. Her doing alive by her own self, and it was really interesting. I would say it was really, really wonderful. But the thing is, people have different reasons. Artists have the right to cancel shows if they feel that maybe perhaps it does not get to benefit them to the level where they feel they would have wanted that kind of a level of a support, or it does not benefit them in terms of growing their brand, or in terms of growing their audiences and things like that. I am not saying that Kenya is not ready to help Thames grow her brand and blow be bigger. But the thing is, she did get to cancel that particular one, and maybe perhaps some other time, maybe next year she will. Who knows? Maybe next year she might even blow up bigger and come back in Kenya with more songs and a bigger show. So all the best to her. That is attempts from the song's Essence, and that was with Whiskey. It was actually a big song. It has been doing big even right now, and it's really interesting to see that. But anyhow, welcome back. This is the Kenyan podcast. Like I said, please always make sure to stream us on your favorite podcasting platform. You can find us on Spotify. You can also find us on Google Podcast. You can also find us on Apple Podcast. You can also find us on AudioMac as well, on SoundCloud. We are actually on many platforms, so that you can also find us there. Even on Breaker, you can find us on Breaker as well. And thank you so much. So there is a whole lot of tea, to spill. Already, it's in the public domain that Vera Sidika, Vera Sidika went for a surgery once again. And, some years back, most young Kenyan girls wanted to be like Vera Sidika, in terms of her physique, in terms of her figure and her curvaceous figure. But the thing is, it has not been any good for her. Right now, she has had to go back for another surgery. The first surgery, she went, and I don't know if it was a silicone kind of implants that she had on her booty. But she actually went and got a surgery some years back, and that was to change her body shape, and make it more. Can I call it more appealing? I do not know whether to use the word more appealing, but she has always regretted it for a long time. She thought that maybe that would be there to last. It would make maybe that would be there to last. It would make her a bigger brand, maybe bring her money, or maybe even improve her self-esteem. But right now, she has undergone a different surgery to remove, to go back to the way she used to be before these other surgery that enlarged her hips and enlarged her behind. And she has also come out on social media, on her Instagram, and said it has not been any easy. Luckily for her, she has been getting the support of Brown Mauzo, the boyfriend or the husband. And the thing is, for